Hi, I'm Amy Bishop with Classical 101.1 WRR. We're the radio station for classical music and the arts in North Texas, and it's all about the arts today because we are standing truly in a work of art. It's the First Presbyterian Church of Dallas, a landmark for the city. It's undergone a major renovation. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. I'm here with the worship and music director, Josh Taylor, as well as one of the architects on the program. And Stimmel, welcome.
Thank you.
Josh, first tell me, how long have you been here with the church?
Almost 7 years. So yeah, and overseeing the music ministry mostly, but have had the wonderful opportunity to work on this project since the beginning of it.
And so the church's history is amazing. I mean, it goes back to 1856. So tell us just a little bit about the background, because it's kind of grown along with Dallas.
Yeah, so First Presbyterian Church was started the day after the city was incorporated, so we really have been here in the city just as long as the city has existed. And we've been in this current location at the corner of Harwood and Young since the building was started in 1912, and the first worship services were in 1913. So we're really proud of the fact that we're not just a physical landmark in downtown, but we're also a cultural landmark with our many ministries and the way that we've connected the life of the church to the life of the city through the work of the Stewpot, our ongoing work with Encore Park, and even going back in our history with the Children's Hospital and things started through the membership and through the work of this church. So
That's
very proud of that, and believe we have a heart for the city.
Absolutely. So before the interview started, we were actually hearing some of the really cool stories about the renovation process, because when you're dealing with a building that's this historic, this old, sometimes you have issues that arise, and that's when you come in and
Yes.
talking about some of the unexpected things that came up. But first, tell me just when the process began as far as talks, and then when you actually got started.
So about 2.5 to 3 years ago, we interviewed for the project and were awarded the project. And then probably about 6 months after that, we started the design process. And it took about a year and a half to complete the design process, and construction started last February. And through the process, in any historic project, you run across some interesting things. And we, in the balcony that we're seeing right now, we ran across some unexpected steel, and so we ended up having to reconfigure our original balcony design. It's one of the things we came across. And then I think the other one we discussed was the lead paint that we discovered, which was everywhere, and ended up having to abate a lot more than expected.
There's a pretty cool story about the dome, and we're deliberately not showing you a whole lot of the sanctuary right now because the big reveal is later in the month, but we will show you just a little bit, just a little sneak peek of the beauty of this place. And for example, the dome. There's a story behind that.
So the dome had been painted white, and in the center section, the grill that you see in the dome had been plastered over. And so in the process of removing the glass to have it clean, we discovered that there was another piece of glass there, and we weren't sure what the grill looked like exactly, but removed the plaster and discovered this fabulous grill, and then discovered that they had painted the copper white. And so it's one of the original features of the room that we were able to go back to.
Yes, it was a big surprise. We had some sort of idea because we did have some of the original historic drawings of the church, and it indicated that there was a grill there, and so it was a really great surprise when we took down the plaster and it was still there.
The building is 104 years old. It's gone through 3 renovations so far.
Yeah, so it was built, and then it was a major renovation in the 50s, and then it was went through a decorative painting renovation in the 80s, and now this big project that we're going through today.
The big reveal is later this month. It's like a whole weekend, basically. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're really excited to move back in and be back in our worship space. So it starts with a concert on January 26th at 7:30 p.m. and our chancel choir and orchestra will be joined by the Kansas State University Collegiate Chorale, and we're going to be presenting Poulenc's Gloria and organ concerto, and also Haydn's Te Deum in C. And so we're very excited about that concert. And then the next morning, we'll have our first worship service back in here with the Reverend Dr. Scott Black Johnston from Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church in New York is coming to be our guest preacher. And then we're also featuring 2 lectures that day by Ronald White, who's a New York Times best-selling author and Lincoln scholar. And he'll be here in the morning to teach Sunday school for the church, and then also at a 4 o'clock public lecture, which is co-sponsored by the Dallas Museum of Arts and Letters Lab.
Well, that's a full weekend
Yeah,
for sure.
We're excited.
I thought that was pretty neat also when we were talking earlier that you mentioned that the majority of the congregation has not seen this place in a year. And so this is super exciting. I mean, you've been holding church in the gym.
In our gym, yeah. Yeah. So we moved out just over a year ago, and we're ready to be back in our home under the dome, as I like to put it.
I love
So,
it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I've left out or that I haven't asked you that you would like to
talk
add?
about the paint.
Well, so you had asked about how we figure out what the original paint scheme was, and when we start these projects, we hire someone to do a paint and finish analysis. And we used Yanni Langer with Source, and he came and created exposures for us on the walls and the cornices and the ceilings, and told us what the original paint colors and where all of the gold gilding was, and so we were able to put that back accurately.
That is incredible. Great. Well, it has been such a pleasure learning about the church and the renovation. This is a beautiful interior and a beautiful exterior as well. We appreciate your time today. And where can people find out more information?
www.fpcdallas.org, and then specifically /celebration to get to all of the events for the weekend.
Great. Excellent. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.